I have a new spooky idea I want to share with you. I want to make a ghost purse, hence all the white. For this spooky crafting idea, you are going to need a few items. You need some sort of purse form. I picked up my supplies from the local craft store, and this is a canvas bag, and I think this will work really well. I also picked up some faux leather in white. I like that. And I had my material cut to 16-inch width, and I wanted to make sure I had enough fabric to complete my project. I also picked up a zipper, which is 9 inches. That's if you want a closure on your purse. If you don't want the zipper, of course, you can always skip that. And then make sure you have coordinating threads. And then if you need any additional embellishment for your purse, make sure you have those close by. Let me show you the plan for my purse. I have somewhat of an idea of what I want. I want my purse, of course, in the ghost form, right? Something like that. And then this would be the top cover here. I want the eyes and a mouth. And then, of course, in between here, we're going to have the purse form. And then we're going to have another ghost shape on the back side. So like that. And then, of course, the handle of our purse form is right here. I am hopeful that everything will work out. So we're going to go ahead and give this a try. This is 11 inch by 8.5. So 11.5 is the width. And then the height of the purse is going to be 8.5. Now, if you're laying this flat, of course, it's going to be 11 inches. But let me move that out of the way. What I want to do you see how the purse is sewn here? I want to take this side here and shape it so it now goes like this. It's going to fall about anywhere from 7/3/4 to 8 inches. So I think this is a really good size to make a ghost purse. Now I know I want 8 inches, right, for the purse form. I want the outer layers to go over. So I think what I will do is cut this at 11 inches. And 4, 6, 8, 10. And let me move my cheat sheet here. I think 11 inches is good. Now, I can always trim that down. It's not a problem. I grabbed my quilt ruler. I'm going to use the rotary cutter and cut 4 pieces of 11 inches. There we go. But before I start making all kinds of markings on my fabric, I want to make a pattern. I'm going to turn it this way. So, and then measure my 10 inches. So, okay, here we go. Here's the 10 inches, and then we have the 8 inches in the center. And then this is 10 inches here. And then on the height of the purse, it's 8.5. So let me measure that out right quick. So 8.5, right? Now I want that overlap at the top and the bottom. I want the top to fall about right there. So let me add 2 inches at the top. And then on the bottom, this is where the purse form falls right here. I may dot that out, right? I mean, you get the idea. So I want my ghost to fall something like this. And I may need to work with my pattern just a little bit. Work your pattern out before you start cutting would be my suggestion to you. I may reconfigure after I cut out the pattern, and we'll revisit the whole thing. But I also want to keep that pointy shape at the top. I don't want a square top, you know what I mean? I don't think a ghost should have a square head. This is your ghost, so shape your ghost however you want. I think I have my pattern, look. So yeah, shape your pattern to what you're comfortable and happy with, and go from there. What I will do is just kind of outline my pattern, and of course you want to do this on the back side of your material. So see, this is going to be the outside, right? This is the outside of my purse. And then this is the inside. To use my blue ink here. That's not too bad. That's about the same. I think you can see this one better. Now, depending on how you feel about your pattern, you of course can cut it exactly like your pattern or interpret. Because once you have all of this cut out and you sandwich everything together, you're gonna make adjustments again. Once you start cutting out your fabric, don't forget you have two sides to your pattern. You have the outside and the inside. Cut 2 for the inside, right? And then you also want to cut 2 for the outside. You want to be able to put it together like this. Once you have everything cut out, you want to go ahead and sandwich your ghost. So take your outside and your insides and put them together. So you want the leather on the outside to both pieces here. So, and then take this one and then do the same. Now you can write in here if you like. Put, inside, outside, whichever, whatever you're comfortable with, do that. Just to keep track in case your fabric, decides to grow legs. So once you do that, make your adjustments one more time. Make sure everything is cut evenly. I did some work off camera. I made a liner for my bag. So I just took a coordinating fabric and cut that out. So for my bag, I cut 10 inches by 12 inches this way. And I sewed up the seam and on the bottom. And then I just pinned the liner to the bag itself. You see there? I made sure the seam falls there and then just kind of divide it up right there. And then my seam also runs along there. See? And then the other thing I did was I took the straps off. I cut out a 16-inch strap by 3 inches wide. So I want to take this and wrap. Then I'm going to fold this edging back just a little bit so I have a nice clean cut underneath like that. If you don't mind the seam running down the middle of your strap, go ahead and sew it all the way through. If you like, you can extend the handle, make it longer if you like. If you want to add a different strap, now's the time to do it. Because I made the handles bulky by wrapping the leather around the straps, I decided to just let it hang over, the 5/8 right here. So I got both sides now. And on my handle, I just did a blind stitch. That way it doesn't show up on the side and it looks decent. See, now I can pull this out and then I can secure it down here on the bottom. So far on my ghost purse, I attached the liner to the purse itself. So I took the liner and just tucked it back like this. And then just match it up with the original purse like that. And then you want to take some pins and just pin that down. This will hold your liner in place while you sew everything together. The next step is to add in your zipper, if you want a zipper, that is. So just turn it like this. It's a lot easier. And then when you put your zipper on your purse, make sure you have the pull on top. So what I will do is put this in here, and you don't want your zipper to flush with the top. Go down just a little bit. You know, if you're not sure, take a look at one of your purses. Gives you an idea of how far you want your zipper to go. So on mine, I have a 1-inch band here. I think I want to go down that 1 inch. So I'm gonna kind of gauge here. So I know it's hard to tell because it's all white. I'm going to just pin this down. I want to sew this side first. Once I finish sewing this side, I'm going to turn it over and do the same thing. Turn it like this so it catches 1 inch down on the other side. I have added in my zipper. Let me show you. Here we go, look. And then I just zip it closed or leave it open, whichever one I like. So I'm happy with that accomplishment. I need to get my purse ready to add the ghost. So I pinned the sides. So this is where the fold is right here. So this right here measures what, 8 inches. And I had a little trouble over here because of the zipper. I couldn't fold it, so I put a pin exactly where the fold is, so that will help me out. But you know, I love a challenge, so I will work around this. So I also pinned the bottom. On my ghost, if you'll remember, I have an outside and an inside. So I'm going to put the outside over here for a minute and work with the inside piece. And I'm going to applique this to here. So this is going to go like right in here. I don't want the original purse to stick out. This is plenty right here. And then down here on the bottom, I also don't want the original purse showing through. So just adjust, and then I'm going to flip this over so we can look. See? So this is kind of how it looks. So there's plenty of space on the outer side of my ghost there. So this is good. I'm going to flip this over one more time. Now I want to pin this. You will want to pin only the original purse and go ahead and stabilize the ghost down. I think I can like stitch it here. I can stitch right in here, and I can stitch down on the side right here. So I want to stay inside the fold, and then down here also. I don't know if you can see my marking, but like right there, and then there, and down here. And let me go ahead and do that to both sides of my purse, and I will show you when I'm done. I have finished sewing in my inside ghost. So on this one, I made the stitching a little closer to the edging of the original purse. And then on top, do you see there? I went all the way to where the seam runs along the edging. So I like that now. And then on the side, so this is where my seam runs. So I went about maybe a ½ inch to the edging there, and then on the side, and then again on the bottom. So I'm happy with that. Next, I want to work on the outside ghost. So here we go. I want to put eyes on my ghost. So I'm going to grab my disappearing ink here, and I want to put the eyes maybe right here. Yeah, I think this is a good spot. And what I want to do is embroider the eyes. I'm going to use black thread. And then just make sure you have a sharp needle. For my embroidery, nothing too elaborate. And I want to maintain that oval shape. You know, that surprise ghost look. So just back and forth. I want to darken the fabric underneath, so I'm going to take a Sharpie and just darken that way. If I have any gaps in here, this will cover it. I need to make a correction very quickly. Now, putting the Sharpie on the faux leather is a bad idea. But since I'm making this for myself, I'm okay. I'm going to cut a piece of felt for the eyes and slide it underneath the thread. I don't want to pull that threading back out because then it's going to mess with my material here. Because once you pierce the faux leather, it's a bad idea to pierce it over and over again. So now I can continue with my embroidery, and I'm going to make sure I go on the outside of that felt patch and any of my drawings. Yeah, that Sharpie was starting to come off onto my fingers, and every time I moved my finger, I was transferring it to a different spot. What I will do also is go like maybe halfway into the eye right there. See that? And anchor that felt down. I have finished sewing the eyes on. You see there? Isn't that neat? I like it. It's almost like a 3-day effect. That one, and then I have this one. I like it. Nice, right? I think so. Now, I want to attach this to my bag. I'm going to put one aside. I just need one for now. And I'm going to clip all together. There we go. I am wrapping the edging on my ghost. I do have both layers, you see. So I'm just going about maybe 1/4 of an inch is good. Pierce both pieces of your ghost and just wrap your threading around it. And I'm using this thread here. It's just basic white thread. I have finished sewing the edging of the ghost with the white thread. It looks pretty good, right? But I wanted to take an additional step. So I bought myself some embroidery floss. This I picked up at the local craft store. It's a metallic white embroidery floss. It's like a iridescent shine on there. I hope that you can tell. So I started on this side here. And let me show you. Do you see that sheen on there? I think that's what my ghost needs. So I've been slaving away. I'm just going back over the white thread. And I'm not doing any close stitching. I'm just like kind of spreading out this spooky cheerfulness. Just like this. You know, the same thing that I have done with the white thread is all I'm doing. Just more of the wrapping stitch with my embroidery floss. So with this floss, you kind of have to hold it together when you run it through your fabric and catch it with your needle and lay that floss down like that. It makes everything a lot easier this way. You can use your finger to guide it till you get that loop all the way down like that. And then use your needle to place that floss. So that's what I've been doing on the side. I mean, I like it. It looks really good. So do you see that? It's you got that iridescent shine all the way around. I think that's what our ghost needed. Just a little extra of the spooky vibes. I like it. I am quite happy with that. So that might be a step you're willing to take. Have fun with it. If you're going to add embroidery floss, I'm going to suggest that you do the initial thread stitching first with the cotton thread, then go over it with your metallic thread. That way you don't use so much. And you're going to need 2 of these embroidery skeins to finish the front and the back of your purse. Overall, I am quite happy with how my ghost purse turned out. I like it. I am willing to give myself another try at making another spooky purse. I will share that project with you when I get to that point. But I like this, right? I'm so happy with it. Now, on your ghost, I put eyes on mine. If you want to add a mouth, go ahead and do that. Decorate it the way you want. have fun making your spooky ghost purse.
Thank you for stopping by. I will see you next time.